سلام به نام خدا کنه همه شما خوب و صحتمند و سرحال باشین. من صبور هستم، صبور حکیمی، باعث سایبر سیکیوریتی انالیست در کمپانی سیلاب کار میکنم. قسمی که همه شما در جریان هستین GDG یا گوگل دیولپرز گروپ یکی از کلانترین کمیونیتی دیولپرها در جهان است. GDG در کشورهای مختلف چپترهای مختلف داره که یکی از چپترهای GDG کابل است. مدت 4 سال میشه که به فعالیت آغاز کرده. متاسفانه GDG کابل نظر به شرایط سیاسی که در کشور روان بوده به مدت 2 سال میشه که فعالیت‌های خود فعالیت نداشته، فعالیت‌هایش بسته شده. خوشبختانه امروز با این ایونتی که ما داریم GDG کابل دوباره فعالیت‌هایش آغاز میکنیم و این اولین ایونت GDG کابل است بعد از 2 سال توقف فعالیت. در ایونت امشب ما 2 تا اسپیکرهای بسیار محترم با خود داریم. جناب عبدالباسط هستند که در کمپانی ساول پاکستان به حیث سینیور سافتویر انجینیر کار میکنن. تخصص اینا در بخش اندروید هستند. اوجا به حیث اندروید دیولپر کار میکنن و کریم بخش امیری رو داریم که در کمپانی اسیلا به حیث فول استک وب دیولپر کار میکنن. قسمی که شما در جریان باشین فعالیت های GDG را تعقیب میکنین. GDG ایونت های مختلف داره که شامل ترینینگ سشن ها می باشه، ایونت های آنلاین است و ورکشاپ ها و هکتون ها می باشه. به خاطر کسایی که در GDG عضو هستند یا دیولپرایی که در کمیونیتی GDG هستند، عموما اکثرا کسایی هستند که بیشتر علاقمند به تکنولوژی های گوگل هستند. تکنولوژی هایی که گوگل اونا را توسعه داده، مثلا اندروید است، فلاتر است و دیگه تکنولوژی هایی هست که گوگل اونا را توسعه داده و گوگل هم کوشش میکنه که از طریق GDG و از طریق چپترهای GDG تکنولوژی هایی که مربوط خودش میشن اونا رو بیشتر به کمیونیتی دیولپرها معرفی کنه و کسایی که از اون تکنولوژی ها استفاده میکنه اونا رو سپورت کنه تا از اون تکنولوژی ها به شکل خوبتر و بهترش استفاده بکنن. به این دلیل گوگل بعضی پروگرام ها داره که یکی از اونا پروگرام DSC هست که Developer Student Clubs می باشه. کسایی که هنوز محصل هستن و در پنتونا درس میخوانن میتونن در پنتون خود چپتر DSC خود داشته باشن و یک نفر از بین از اونا به حیث DSC لید تعیین میشه و ایونت هایی که مربوط به GDG در پنتون خاص میشه او را رهبری میکنن و ترینینگ سشن هایی که راجع به تکنولوژی های گوگل باشه او را در پنتون خود برگزار میکنن. یکی دیگه از یکی دیگه از فعالیت‌هایی که گوگل میکنه این است که بعضی ترینینگ متریالز که داره، ترینینگ سشن های GCP هست، گوگل کلاود پلتفرم است و همچنان بعضی پلتفرم های دیگه هست. این ترینینگ ها گوگل برای کسایی که عضو کمیونیتی های GDG هستند به شکل رایگان بدون کدام چارجز برای اونها ارائه میکنن. یکی از پروگرامایی که فعلا فعال است و ما از کسایی که لایو ما رو میبینن دعوت میکنم که این ترینینگ متریالز رو تعقیب کنن. پروگرام اندروید می باشه که فعلا فعال است. این پروگرام که هست فقط به کسایی هست به چپترهای GDG هست که در سنترال ایشیا فعالیت داره، کشورهای مثل افغانستان، تاجیکستان، قزاقستان. لینک ای ترینینگ دارم ما از طریق کامنت شیر میکنم همراه با شما. کسایی که در این ترینینگ ها اشتراک میکنه گوگل بر از اینا یک تعداد ترینینگ متریالز که هست ایره به شکل رایگان پروواید میکنه و در آخر از این ترینینگ سشن ها که هست یک کویز می باشه و یک تعداد سوالا می باشن و با تکمیل کردن از اونا بعضی بجا هست که اونا به اکانت شما داده میشه و کسایی که این بجای از این ترینینگ را کامپلیت کنه از طرف گوگل، از طرف کمپانی گوگل برای از اونا به شکل رایگان سرتیفیکیشن که در بخش اندروید است او را برای از اونا میدن. ما در پروگرام امروز ما آقای عبدالباسط داریم درباره اکسسیبیلیتی در اندروید گپ میزنن و آقای کریم بخش درباره مدوسا که یک هیدلس ای کامرس پلتفرم است صحبت میکنه. قسمی که شاید بعض شما از ای کامرس پلتفرم ها استفاده کرده باشین، کلاسیکی ای کامرس پلتفرم ها که هستن اکثرا پلتفرم های مونولیتیک می باشه. مثلا ما مجنتو را داریم یا پرستو را داریم. این پلتفرم ها که هستن عموما کامپلکسیتیشان زیاد بالا می باشه برای دیولپرهایی که تازه شروع به کار میکنن. کار کردن با این سیستم ها خیلی کامپلکس است، چون زیاد کامپلکس است بسیار سخت تمام میشه. مدوزا یک اوپن سورس سیستم است که با این ذهنیت دیزاین شده که بسیار سیمپل و آسان باشه برای دیولپرهایی که تازه میخواین از استفاده کنن. کریم بخش امیری راجع به او به شما پرزنت میدن که چطور از مدوسا استفاده کنین و چی خوبی‌ها و چی ویژگی‌ها در مقایسه با ای کامرس پلتفرم‌های کلاسیک داره. در جریان پرزنتیشن هایی که سپیکرهای پروگرام ما دارن، در این جریان شما میتونین سوالای خود از طریق کامنت با ما در اشتراک بگذارین. بعد از ختم پرزنتیشن ها ما تمام سوالای شما را لیست میکنیم و از اسپیکرهای برنامه خود سوالا را میپرسیم و داخل برنامه ما بخش Q&A را داریم که این سوالای شما با اسپیکرهای برنامه ما در اشتراک گذاشته میشه و اونا به سوالای شما جواب میدن. Mr. Bassett, you can introduce yourself and tell us more about what do you do at your company, and then start your presentation. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for that. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. So thank you, Sabur. So my name is Abdul Basit, and today we will be talking about accessibility in Android. But before that, some intro about me. So my name is Abdul Basit, and I am a software engineer having 5 years of experience in Android development, and I have worked with several startups in the Middle East and in the Pakistan, and working on mainly on the Android application and developing them and from scratch to the deployment. So that's it from my introduction. So today we will be talking about accessibility. What is accessibility, and what are different kind of disabilities that we have, and what are the different tools that we can use to detect some accessibility issues, and then what we can do as a developer. So first of all, accessibility means providing accessibility to each and everyone with varying abilities and disabilities. So that's very important, that providing equal opportunities to each and everyone with varying abilities and disabilities. So like there might be people with different disabilities, or there might be people that have some different abilities. So providing same opportunities to each and everyone is called accessibility. So you might have seen these chairs in your schools or in your college, right? So these chairs have their folder on their right side. So if someone is left-handed, right, so it is very difficult for them to use the chair whose folder is on the right side. And then we have scissors, right? So when the scissors are normally made for the right hand people, right? And when they are using that, so it is very difficult to use for the people who are left handed. So and being lefty, like around 10% of the population is left-handed, so it's not like something that is unique, right? 10% of the population, that's every one in the 10 people. So when you provide equal opportunities, like when you create chairs with left-handed folder, and like creating scissors with for the left-handed people, so you are unlocking that 10% population. So it's really important to think of the accessibility. You can, like, it's like it has a different implications, like you are not just providing them access, but it also has a business profitability, right? When you create left-handed scissors, so you are unlocking these 10% population. And you might have seen you might have seen these traffic lights, right? So for a normal person, these seems okay, like there is no issue with that. We have the red color, we have blue color, and we have yellow color. But someone with the color blindness, so this is how they see the traffic lights. So in case of the prosopopia, you can see that they are unable to distinguish between the yellow or the green. So it is very important. It is very important to think about accessibility when you are developing something, or when you are developing an application. So think of the game where we are matching different colors, right? So suppose if you don't consider the people blindness, so they cannot play their application. Like we can see how the different color blind people see these colors, right? So if you do not consider, so you are missing that part of the population. And according to the World Health Organization, about 15% of the world's population having some form of disability. And this is the disability, this is permanent disability, like not temporary or situational disability. So if we look into these numbers, so this is like every one person out of seven. So and that's like a huge number, right? Every one person out of seven. And if we consider the situational or temporary disability, so the number increased quite drastically. Like someone might be having broken arm, so for that time being they are disabled, right? So if we also add those numbers, so the number increased quite drastically. And according to the a survey, the assistive technology market is about to be like increased to 26.5 billion by 2027 from 14.3 billion, right? So that's like a huge market capital that we need to unlock. So then we have different types of disabilities, right? uh, we can categorize the disability based on the temporality and type. So we have like a permanent disability, we have temporary disability, and we have situational disability. So permanent, in the permanent, like if someone is having one arm, right? So they are permanently disabled, like this is something that cannot be reverted. But if you have arm injury or your arm is broken, right, so within a month or two you will be like back to normal life. So this is called temporary disability. And then we have situational disability. So like if someone is holding something in hand, or if a parent has babies in their hand, so they cannot use both of their hands. So this is the kind of disability that is situational. So these disability are regarding the touch. Then we have hearing disability, so someone might be deaf, right? So we cannot revert deafness, so that's like a permanent disability. Then we have temporary disability, like ear infection, right? And if we look to the bartender, so if he is in the bar, so there is a lot of noise, right? So that is situational disability. Then we have speaking disabilities, so someone might be non-verbal, right? So that's like permanent. And if someone is having a heavy accent, so that is a situational disability. Or there might be some language barrier, right? So this is also a kind of disability. Let's look into the visual disability. So someone might be having low vision. So with low vision, like you cannot see clearly. So this is also a kind of a kind of disability. Then we have low contrast. So suppose when you are using your application outside on a sunny day, right? So it's like very sunny, so you cannot there is like low contrast between the elements, right? And if you do like if someone present you the wonderful and a gray light UI, right, that looks amazing, but you as you step outside, so you are unable to distinguish between the different layers or the text or the background colors. So that's come into the contrast issue, and then we have color blindness. So as I mentioned earlier in the traffic lights, so this is how someone with the low vision, with the low vision see, right? So if you are developing a game where people are matching colors or different things, so they cannot use your application. So it's better to tackle that problem. So this is how the color blind people see; they cannot distinguish between different colors. And then we have completely blindness. So someone might be completely blind, like in that case the situation totally changes because they cannot interact with the device in the same way that they used to do. So in that case, like the situation totally changes. So this was regarding like visual disabilities. Then we have cognitive impairments, right? So someone might be suffering from cognitive impairments. Then we have motion sickness. So someone might be having suffering from motion sickness. So if there are a lot of things going on in the UI, like animations and fast moving objects things, so it would be very difficult for them to use that application. And then we have complex UI. So if there are a lot of things going on in the UI, like we have a bar here, we have a bar there, we have a bar here, and there are a lot of information flow here and there, so it gets very complex. And for the user to very difficult to understand the UI, like how I can perform a specific functionality, or how they they are unable to understand the UI. Then we have error guidance, right? So suppose if someone is entering password, right, and your password requirement is that it should be 18 character, and there should be alphabet, there should be a character. So when user is putting their password, and you are not giving some error that you have some issue with your password, and you are just saying that some error occurred, right? So we should guide the user regarding the error. So this is also kind of a cognitive impairment. So if you give a proper error message saying that this is the password criteria and you are not matching that, so it will be very easy for user to understand. And then some people have troubles reading long text. So if like the text is very long, so it might be difficult for some user to read. And some people might be having difficulties comprehending the words, and then someone might be unable to understand the UI. So these are all related to the cognitive impairments. Then we have motor disabilities. So in motor disabilities, like suppose if the buttons are too small, right? So it might be difficult for someone to click those small buttons. And because as we grow, so our stability also decreases, right? So someone might be having stability problems. They cannot use the application in the same manner that they used to do. So if your hands are shaky, or they might be totally disabled, like they might be unable to move their hands. So these are these have motor disability. Then we have auditory disabilities. So someone might be having someone might be unable to hear properly. Someone might be unable to perceive the sounds properly, or they might be unable to understand without subtitles. There might be some language barriers, like suppose if you come across some other language, so you might be unable to understand that, right? So these are all auditory disabilities. So we talked about different problems or disabilities that we can have. Now let's look into different accessibility services that Android provide. If I'm there, I thought I lost you.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So we talked about different disabilities, right? Different disabilities that we have. Now let's look into some accessibility services. So there are like some accessibility services that Android offers by default, like they are bundled with the Android operating system. So we have talkback, we have switch access, and we have like the you can increase or decrease the font size, and then we have the display size. you can increase or decrease display size, and there are different tools for color. So these are some of the accessibility services that Android provide. There are also some others like text to speech. We have like the magnification. So if someone have low vision, so they can use the magnification services. Or if you someone might be unable to see like where I'm pointing, so they can use the mouse pointer. Or if you are having some motion sickness or things like that, so you can remove the animation. So there are different accessibility service. If you go to the settings and then go to the accessibility, so you can see these different services. And there are also like a lot of third party services, and you can download them from the Play Store. But we will be covering some like the talkback, switch access, font size, display size, and the color display tools. So let's look into the talkback. So the talkback, that is the main accessibility thing that Android provides. So what the talkback does, that it will be reading you the screen, like whatever is on the screen, so it will be reading you that. So if you enable the talkback, so in the example that you can see in the image, that it is currently focused on Spotify, right? So whenever it will be reading you that Spotify, play music and podcast, right? So if you swipe up or down, with that it will be navigating to the next element. So if you swipe down, so then it will move to the install button. It will highlight that. So for talkback, like you don't need to do anything else. You just need to swipe up or swipe down or double tap to activate. So when it is like on the install button, so it will be telling you that double tap to activate. So when you double tap on the screen, so with that it will activate the install button. It will click on the install button, and then you can like install the application, and this is how the flows go. So the talkback, it is like reading the screen. It will be reading you whatever content it's on the screen, and with the swipe up down you can navigate between them. And you can also add some custom behavior if you want. So like if I give you an example of the Google camera, right? So if you open the Google camera and you have enabled the talkback, and when you are capturing the selfie, so it will be telling you that there is a face in the center of the screen. It will be giving you like different updates on the camera. So it's like we can also have a custom behavior with the talkback. So and then we have a barely back device. So this is for someone who is unable to use the touch screen. So with barely, what you can do, that you can give commands from the keyboard. So you can attach an external keyboard, and with that keyboard you can give different commands to the Android phone. So this is how it works, and you will be having a physical keyboard. So then we have a switch access. So in the Braille device, it works in conjunction in with the talkback. So with the command, it will be navigating back and forth. So now we have switch access. So switch access, it is like a device with having two buttons. There can be more than two buttons, but normally we have two buttons. So this is normally used by the people who have motor disabilities, who cannot like move their arms or something, move their arms, right? So that device is for them. With the buttons you can like go back and forth. Like there are two buttons, so one is for back and one is for forward. And as you can see in the image, that you can also install it somewhere else. So if you want to install it on the chair, so with the head motion, with your head motion, like you can enable the buttons. So this is where you can install. You can also install it somewhere else, but that's one of the use case. So in the switch case, the switch access, it also works with the talkback. So it will be reading you the screen and going back and forth. Then we have the font size. So if you have some visions problem and you want to increase or decrease the font size, or if you don't like the font, or you are unable to understand the specific font, so you can change that. So just go to the settings and then font size and style, and there you can update your fonts if you want to increase or decrease that, or if you want to change your font. So this is different services that Android provide. There are also like other services also there, but we will be just covering these. And now we mentioned that like what are different disabilities and what are the different services that Android provides. But now what we can do as a developer, right? So like Android pretty much covers it, but there are still some gaps that the developer needs to fulfill and step in. So we should use the standard Android components. So there are components that Android offers by default, so we should try to use those. Why we should use those? Because they have built-in accessibility support. So if we look into the different components like text view or button, so they have the built-in accessibility services, so you don't need to handle that. So try to use the Android component as much as possible, and use the appropriate component. So sometimes what happens, like if we are adding an image, right, so instead of image view we use text view, or some other thing, right? So or we make the image clickable. So that is not that what we should do, because image by default that is not clickable, text view it is not clickable. So we should use the appropriate component, and we should make only clickable the appropriate component, like button, a button or something like that. And then we have to describe each UI element. So as I mentioned, that the talkback, it will be reading you the whole screen, like whatever is on the screen, but it will be reading the screen, but still you need to provide some context. So if there is a button, right, you know that this button is clickable, but where this button navigates to, right, where this button will take me to. So we need to describe each UI element, like this is for this element, and provide some context. And suppose if you are using some custom views, so it is better to use the default views like image view. So suppose if you want to develop some of your custom buttons, so for that you shouldn't create the custom view from the scratch, but you can, what you can do, that you can extend your view from your button. So in that manner you will be getting all of the accessibility services that are built in the button. So we should try to use those. And then we should have visual cues. So as I mentioned in the cognitive impairment, so we should provide visual cues. So in that the example at the right side, you can see that there is some issue, right? We are showing a red color, and we are not telling the user that what is the issue. But if we look into the left side, so there we are telling the user that you have entered 130 characters, but the limit is 120. So if you're not telling the user, so you will be giving them anxiety, like what I'm doing wrong, right? So they cannot know. So it's better to provide a proper context and a proper error message. The next thing is the contrast ratio. So you can see that if you look into the text on the left side, so they are very visible, like the background, you can distinguish between the background and the text very clearly. But if we look to the right side, so in that there is very low contrast. It's very difficult to distinguish between the background and the text. And consider, like if you are outside in a sunny day, right, so in that you will be unable to see the text and the background. So it is very, very important to provide a proper contrast. So for the small text, the contrast ratio should be 4, or for the big text it can be around 3. So we should try to provide a proper contrast ratio. Then we have touch size. So normally you have seen you might have seen some aids. First of all, it's very difficult to like find the close button, but once you have found that, so it is very difficult to click because it's very small. So for the touch, the touch area should be at least 48 cross 48, so that the user is able to click properly. If it's small than that, so it is very difficult to click, and the touch decreases. So we should try to make the touch size at least 48 plus 48. And then we have the talkback navigation. So we should make ensure that we are providing proper talkback navigation. So here in the example you can see that we have the play pause button, right? So in that manner we have to update the button context accordingly. So if the video audio is playing, right, so we need to on the play pause button we need to show that you can pause this, with this you can pause the media, or you can play the media. So we need to update, and we need to provide a proper context. And if we look into the fast forward in previous, so we should also provide, like with the forward, it will go to the next item in the playlist, and with the backward it will go to the previous item in the playlist. So we should provide a proper context that our application have. And we should be telling, like the talkback will be reading you the screen, but we should try to fill the gap between the talkback and our application. So as I mentioned that, like suppose if we have some button, right, if we have this forward and previous buttons. So we know that this button is clickable, but if you do not add a proper context that this button will be forwarding the media or something like that, so it gets very difficult to understand. And and if you want to test like how my application is doing for accessibility, so what you can do that you can cover your eyes, and then you start using your application with the talkback. So with that you will know like how the experience is, right? You can like experience how the other user will be feeling when they are using my application. So these are different things that we can do. Now let's go to different tools to detect the accessibility issues. So the first thing that we have, like we can have lint. So you just have to run the gradle lint command, and it will be accessing, it will go through all your application, and it will be telling you like where you have accessibility issues, where there is some contrast issue, there is like low contrast, or there is text that is very very small that you need to increase. So that's the you can use lint for that. And then we have espresso. So if we can like having automated testers, and espresso have the accessibility test framework which is in Android, so it uses that to identify different issues. So you can also automate your process, and with the espresso you just need to enable the accessibility checks in the your UI test, and it will automatically detect, and it will fail if certain criteria is not meet. So we can use Espresso for that. Then we have color space. So if you go to the developers option, there is a color space which will allow you to stimulate a different color blindness. So with that, like there are different options which you can use to simulate a different color blindness. So this is how you can use like color space for that. So these are different variants that the color space give when we change the color space simulation. And then we also have the accessibility scanner. So accessibility scanner, that is a standalone application on the Play Store that you can download. So once you download that, so then you will be able to see a floating play button. So with this, when you click on the play, so it will capture the screen, whatever is on the screen, and then it will start analyzing that. So whatever is on the screen, and then it will start analyzing, and it will be telling you like there is a low contrast issue, there is like the text, there is unlabeled text, or there is unlabeled image, there is unlabeled item, menu item, or things like that. So you just need to like you can also try it on other applications that are that you are currently using. So you just need to download the accessibility scanner and just click the play button, and it will capture the screen, and it will give you different accessibility issues that we have. Then we have the pre-launch report. So whenever you are launching your application, so we have the pre-launch report there, and with the pre-launch report, does the same thing as the accessibility scanner. So what you can whenever you upload a new build, so it will run the whole thing, and it will be giving you different feedback regarding that. So that's it from the presentation. Thank you. I would like to say special thanks to David Lazaro. So this talk is inspired from the David Lazaro talk, which he gave back in DroidCon Italy in 2019, and thanks to him for allowing me to use his content. So thank you, David Lazaro, and I would like to say special thanks to Sabur, Azhar, and GDG Kabul for giving me this amazing opportunity to present and talk about Android accessibility. So thank you, Sabur, thank you, Azhar, and thank you, GDG Kabul. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, so you can ask, either you can reach me on the Twitter or LinkedIn or on GitHub. So would love to answer. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett. Thank you for the amazing presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
If anyone has any questions from Mr. Bassett, they can write the questions in the comment section, and we will have a Q&A at the end of the presentations. Mr. Karim, you can move on. You can start your presentation. You can introduce yourself and tell us about what do you do at your job, and then you can start your presentation. You are on mute.
Okay, can I have my screen shared, please? Okay. So hello everyone and welcome. Thanks to all those people who have been joining with us, and welcome all those new people who have recently joined. My name is Karim Shamiri. I've already been introduced by Mr. Sabur, and I've been working as a full stack web developer at a C Lab. And in this event that I'm talking about Medusa versus traditional e-commerce platforms. So this is the topic of our discussion or presentation. So let's go on with the talk and let's see what do we have. So in this presentation, we have the introduction, and I'll just go with a short introduction of e-commerce platforms. Then we'll explore the characteristic and limitation of traditional e-commerce platforms. Then we will just dive into the Medusa, see what Medusa have for us, what are the limitations for that, what are the good things about that, and then we can just go over the conclusion. So which one is preferred and why, and the last one will be the Q&A session for this event. So the first part is the introduction. So you may have heard about e-commerce or you may not, but e-commerce platform is just like an online store. Okay, it's a software application that businesses use to sell their products, to sell their services. Okay, if you're living in Afghanistan, like click.a, if that was something like an e-commerce platform. Okay, we Seal.app is sealab.com. Okay, is an e-commerce platform. Like there are lots of other e-commerce like online stores. Okay, but they run on a software application. So these software applications are called e-commerce platforms. And some of the most popular ones, okay, those popular e-commerce platforms are the Amazon. You must have heard that it's a really famous one, the eBay, the Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, Medusa, and there are some more, okay, but these are the most the boldest ones, okay, the one that comes at the top of the list. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is the traditional e-commerce platforms. And if we just go right here, these are just some icons, some logo, or a list of all those e-commerce platforms that are using their traditional technique or schema or something else like that. And we have the Amazon here, we have the Magento here, we have the Shopify and all these things, PrestaShop. So the first thing first, we talk about the characteristic, like what are the main characteristic of the e-commerce platforms, the traditional ones. And here comes the first one. It is monolithic. If you've heard of monolithic, monolithic means when the back end and the front end are totally fused together. Okay, they cannot be separated. Okay, they are both in the same system. Okay, the front end and the back end are worked on the same place. So they are monolithic. The traditional e-commerce platforms are totally monolithic. And the second thing is that it comes out of the box with some really nice functionalities, and you don't have to create them by yourself, and it is really easy to use. Like by out of the box functionality, I mean you have an option, you can add your products. You have an option, you can just give the price. You have an inventory. Okay, you have some other options that you can add the variation, like different variation of a product. Okay, you can just integrate that with the payment systems. Okay, these are out of the box functionalities. You don't have to create them. You don't have to work on them. They're just prepared there for you. You can just use them. Okay, and the good thing is they're easy to use. Even a non-technical person can just make up a shop, okay, in Shopify or something else like that, okay, and just run that, okay, run his business, his shop there. And here comes the third-party integration. The good thing about the e-commerce platform is they have been well established. Okay, they have been here for a long time, and most of the third-party services, okay, they can be integrated with them. Like imagine you want to connect your store to an online payment system, okay, like PayPal, like Visa, like MasterCard. Okay, they can be easily integrated. Or you want to integrate your e-commerce platform to the shipping companies or services like FedEx, okay, like DHL, like these are other things. And or you may want to connect your store to Google Analytics, okay, to just show you some statistic or things like that. These are the things that can easily be integrated. And like this, most of the other services are out there. Okay, you can just use them, connect them to your store, and they're really easy to integrate. You don't have to, there are not lots of head over or for you to go on with that. And there's this thing, you have to pay for them. Okay, and it is just like a subscription fee. You want to use their service, yes, so you have to pay for that. Okay, and most of them are monthly. Okay, you have to pay them monthly. It can start from $40 and it can go more. Okay, and even it can cost you yearly, like annually, $40,000. That's a large amount. So that is the thing. So as long as you are running your store, as long as you are using their service, you have to give them their fee. You have to pay their fees. So you should be able to use that. And they are really they have a good community because they are well established. They have been here for a long time, so they must have lots of developers, users. Okay, those other partners. Okay, that have sponsored them, or they have been using these e-commerce platforms. Okay, and this is really good from one point of view, because maybe there's a starter, or we call it newbie. There's a newbie, okay, right here, and he wants to get started. So he must have lots of support. Why? Because there's a large community using that. Okay, developers, users, partners. Okay, they have all this community, and the community is there to help that new starter right here. So these are like the really bold characteristic, good things about traditional e-commerce platforms. And here comes the limitations. So I've already told you that traditional e-commerce platform is being monolithic, and monolithic means in front end and back end connected together, fused together in one part. That really makes it hard to customize. So imagine you have the source code, you want to make some changes in that. Okay, you want to bring some changes, okay, and to your store. But the bad point is, as soon as you change one part of the code, you don't know what can crash on the other part. Okay, so they're really interconnected. Okay, to each other. Those parts of the code. So it is really good not to just do that, or if you do that, you have to take the full responsibility. In case something crashes, so you're the person who did that, or you must do that much carefully that nothing bad happens. So it's really difficult to customize something based on your own need or requirement, because they only give you the option that you have. If you want to add more options, so the rest depends on you. And we come to the scalability. If your business grows larger and larger, okay, and you have like a large and complex catalog of products, okay, like different things, okay, so there comes the scalability issue that most of the e-commerce platform, the traditional one, does not support that much. Okay, it supports, but not that much. And the other thing is the security concern. So I'd like to mention two things about the security concerns of the traditional e-commerce platforms. Like let's come to the first thing. Okay, now you're using someone's service. Like if you use Shopify, okay, that is not yours. You're using a service, you're paying for that monthly, and that service is someone else's. Okay, now in case that service is compromised, okay, has been hacked, okay, by someone, so you don't have your store anymore, okay, because you are using their service. If their service has been hacked, so you're hacked too, okay, it means your store has been compromised too. So this is one security concern, okay, that the service is not yours. If something bad happens, that bad thing happens to yours, or if something good happens, that something good happens to you. But we have the bad things in mind right here, because it is the security issue. And the second thing about security is being monolithic. If one of the server, or if their server has been hacked, okay, or compromised, so front end and back end, they're in the same place, so they can access the whole thing. Okay, so if it is alone, like front end and back end, there will be not much of an issue if one of them has been compromised. But in case of being monolithic, it's really an issue. And these were the limitations, like those three strong points of the limitation about the e-commerce platform, the traditional ones. And we come to the Medusa. So this nice logo down here is the Medusa icon or logo or something like that. Right now we want to talk about Medusa. Okay, like we want to see what Medusa have for us. What is it something new about Medusa? Okay, and why is it really nice to have or use Medusa than the other ones? So the first thing first about Medusa is open source. Okay, and open source means that okay, you have the code, those people have created that. Okay, they give it to you. You have it. You can customize it by yourself. You can have it on your own. Okay, you can serve it somewhere, and that is yours. Okay, and the point is that Medusa has been around for less than 1 year, okay, publicly, but the developers have worked more than 3 years, or around 3 years on Medusa, and it's only about a year that they have open sourced it. Okay, they have put the code in public so people can use that based on their own needs. And this is really flexible, like highly flexible. Okay, you can just customize it any way you want. Okay, and it's really nice than the traditional ones that the customizing the platform was really a difficult job. But in Medusa it's really easy for you to do that. And the other thing is it is headless. Okay, but by headless I don't mean like this guy does not have any head or something. Headless in case of software development means when the back end and the front end are separate. Okay, and they are communicating with each other through some kind of APIs. Okay, or application programming interfaces. Okay, they can be connected to each other, they can be disconnected. Okay, and they're fused, they're sitting in two separate places, and they're communicating with the API. What is the good thing about that? So this is the map, okay, for the Medusa backend. You have all the back in here, like all those modules, cart, okay, payment, like gift things, okay, like customers, like users, countries, okay, and all these other services, okay, endpoints. And what does it do? Okay, it communicates with all those services that you have created. Okay, it can change the database or retrieve data from the database, and then the Medusa backend take those data or send that data back to the database. This is how Medusa backend work. Okay, and we have the other thing right here. It is just the basic component of Medusa that has it out of the box. So if you just get started with Medusa, it has one backend for you. Okay, and it has two places, two storefronts for you. Okay, and the first one is the store. Like in case you have a Medusa e-commerce platform up and running, there are two places someone can go. The first one, this is the storefront. If a customer wants to see your products, want to buy your products, want to just have them, they have to go there. Okay, there they can buy products, they can see the products. And in case you want to add some products or you want to make changes to the backend, okay, you have to come to the admin dashboard. Okay, you are the owner of the website. You can just come here, add your products. You can make changes to the prices, and all those things that you do here will communicate to the backend, and all those changes will come to the store that you have created. So imagine you have added a product here. Okay, the product will go to the backend, and the next time if a user wants to just go to the store, he will see that product that you've added. So these are the three base components of Medusa. One is storefront, one backend, headless one, and one admin dashboard for the owner. So Medusa is API first approach. So what does it mean? It means everything, almost everything is done through the APIs. And why is it good? Because it is really easy to integrate. Okay, you have created Medusa, you have just customized Medusa based on your own needs, and you have added a website. So the next day you want to make an application, a mobile application. In case you want to make a mobile application for the same store that you have created, you don't need to do everything back again. Okay, you can have your mobile application, and you can use all those APIs for the products, for the services, for the cart, for the checkout, for payment, for everything. They have already been prepared. You have to just use the APIs that you had created on the first place. And the other good thing is that it is modular. So imagine you want to add one more and we come to the multi-store support. This is one of the most interesting thing about Medusa. I really love this point. The thing is that you can have one store, okay, but different storefronts. By different storefronts, I mean like you open my website in Afghanistan, the products are different and the prices are different. But if you open my website in another place, like in another country, okay, the products are the same, but the prices are different, okay? Or if you open my website in Afghanistan, I have only card, imagine, okay, like MasterCard or these things available. But if you open my website on another country, okay, like Europe, I have the PayPal, like the Google Pay, like the Apple Pay, all these things available. So these are the things that Medusa has it built in for us, okay? We don't have to do that by ourselves, okay? You can just have one place, one centralized place. You can add your products, you can make changes, okay? And then you can make different regions, okay? And in those different regions, you can control the price, you can control the payment option, how someone can pay, you can control even the tax, should that be taxable or how much, and more customization. By region, you can make lots of customization. And what it does really, it makes it really easy for businesses to operate in multiple markets. Okay, I have a store, I can operate in different markets. Like I can operate in Afghanistan market, I can operate in America's market, I can operate in any market that I want, okay? This is the robustness, the good things about Medusa right here. And Medusa is really built with modern technologies, okay? It runs on modern and the updated JavaScript environment. Node.js is used for the backend, Next.js is used for the front end, and we have the caching server or service Redis, okay? We have the type ORM, okay? These are the really nice things, new things, modern things that have been used here. So this shows like how modern this solution is. It really works for today's business or markets. And the other thing is that because it is based on the JavaScript environment, it's working on the JavaScript environment. You can easily use any npm package you want. You must already been familiar with npm packages. You can use any of them like anywhere you want, okay, because they can be really integrated easily with that. And the same thing like the e-commerce, like the traditional ones, it is also community driven. Like what does it mean here? It means all those developments that has been here, or some of the new features that have been added there, okay, they have been there was the community, okay? And all those like passionate developers at the beginning that have created that, okay? It has a really strong community, okay? It has good users, okay, along with them. And it is a good support for all those people who just started newly. Because it is just something new, okay? It doesn't have that much community support that has in other platforms, but as considering that it's a new one, it really has a nice community support of being new, something like that. So there's something like if we say the good things, we have to say the bad things too. Like they're not the bad things, okay, about it, but there are some kind of downsides, okay. Downsides for Medusa. Medusa is not really recommended for individual usage. What do I mean by that? Like I'm a seller, okay. I just want to sell my own products, okay, and I only have one product, and all of them are arts, okay, or all of them are the things that I buy from one market, I sell another market, okay. All of them are like I'm an individual seller, okay. It is not really recommended for me, okay. Medusa is really recommended for those startup businesses and to big enterprises, but for individual usage, it will be something costly, okay. It will cost you a bit much. And for all those developers and people who has been working with monolithic services, it will be really difficult for them to, a bit difficult, okay, considering their experiences to manage the microservices, or just get used to these things, or learn these things, in one go. And the last thing I'd like to mention about the downside is it is a relatively new platform, okay, considering to the other traditional platforms that have been well established, okay. And because it is new, it may not be that much stable as it is the others are, okay, as those others who open in the market are stable. Maybe it is not that much stable. So this is the last point I've mentioned about the downsides right here. And how can we conclude? Like these two things I've already told you about. I'll just go to the conclusion, but I'd like to mention you about a demo, like those websites that have already used Medusa. Like this website is called tglsupplies.com. Okay, this full website has been built by Medusa. Okay, and this other one, okay, this is called ticlafabrics.com. This is built on Medusa. Okay, these are the things, the services, the products. If I click on one of them, it will take me to that page. Let it be loaded, and this is the thing. Okay, the images are loading here. It has a really nice experience. Okay, these are the things I can see. It is a demo kind of thing for Medusa. Okay, this website is based on Medusa. So if I just click here, some things will come. Okay, yeah, see, this is the product that we have. Okay, and we want to add it to our cart, but first we want to choose the size. Okay, and we want to add it to our cart. As soon as we add it to our cart, it will be added to our cart. Okay. And see, it is really a nice experience other than all those traditional ones. Okay, if you've used these things much, you will know, okay, that it is a bit different. And I've told you about the admin dashboard or admin panel. This is the admin panel for Medusa, the built-in ones. So sure, you can customize it, but this is the built-in ones. Okay, like if you want to add a product, you can just come here. Okay, these are the products that has already been here. Okay, you want to add a new product. Okay, you should fill all these things. Okay, and at the end, the product will be added here. So let's just add one. Okay, as a simple, like I just want to add a winter jacket. Okay, and I'll only fill all those things that has been needed here. Okay, yeah. Okay, and I want to save it as draft. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, I just noticed that because it is the test website of the demo Medusa, I cannot add much product here. But this is how it looks like. You can just see the orders around here. If there are new orders, if there are customers, you can see the customers, and you can add discount. These are the built-in settings for the Medusa that we have around here. Okay, and if we just go back to our presentation here. Okay, coming to the conclusion, the traditional and Medusa e-commerce platforms, they have their own set of strengths. Okay, they have their limitation, they have the good things about it, they have the downsides about them. But the one who decides which one is good for them, which one is not good, okay, that depends on the business itself. Okay, Medusa is a better option, okay, but not for individual users. Okay. At the end of the day, the business owner decides which one is better for them. But Medusa makes it really easy for the business to meet their requirements. Like any type of requirements they have, they can easily customize the website based on their needs. And while being really flexible, Medusa is really flexible. It may not be best fit for all the businesses around the world or around here. So this should be decided by the business owner. But Medusa is a better option at the end of the day. And we just came to the end of the presentation. I'd like to thank everyone for being patient enough and really for tolerating the presentations so far. These are the contact points in case just you want to contact or something else like that. I'd really like to thank everyone. So these are the resources we have, and we are coming to the Q&A session. Sabur, Mr. Sabur.
Thank you, Kareem. Thanks for the amazing presentation. Yeah, it was really fun, specifically with those GIFs that you had included in your slides. So if anyone has any questions, they can ask it in the comment section. We will receive your questions and our speakers will answer the questions. If anyone has any questions, we have 5 more minutes remaining, so they can ask the questions. I already have 2 questions with myself. The first one is asked by Mr. Farzad. He has asked that he's studying in Balkh University. He wants to restart the DEC chapter in Balkh University. So regarding this, I don't have much information. I have to confirm it with the Central Asia organizers, with others who are in charge of this. So you can send us a DM, a direct message to our Facebook page, and we will update you about this, about how exactly is the process and how you can start your DEC chapter. There's another question by Ms. Shukuria. She has asked, hello, the training in Android will be suitable for freshman programmers or no? These Android trainings, they are very beginner friendly. Anyone with the basic knowledge of programming can enroll in those trainings. Yeah, it's totally suitable for for those who are fresh in computer science and programming at all in general. So anyone can enroll in those trainings. I have commented the link in the message section, so they can you can go to the message section of this live, and yeah, you can enroll in the training sessions for Android. If there is any questions, you guys can ask now in the comment section. If not, then we can end our live. I don't see any questions now. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And thanks, Kareem. Thanks, Basit, for the amazing presentation. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Good day. Good day, everyone. Bye.
Have a good day.